up, guys? How y'all doing today?
It's not your birthday today.
No, it's not my birthday. Nor am I having a baby. So I got 3 at home. I'm good. So, but we are definitely thinking about Coach Hudd and Tyler. And like Coach said, we haven't got any much updates. I'm sure he'll let everybody know when the baby comes. We're excited, just like everybody else is. And another addition to the Raging Cajun family, probably another future quarterback or maybe cheerleader coming up the road. So really excited about that. But just to get started, we very excited about the way we played last week. Big road game. Any conference road game victory is a really big win for the program. Going to a unique place. I don't think any of our coaches or any of our players have ever been to New Mexico State to play games. So it was a unique experience for us. It was a great experience. Our guys went out there focused, played well, and we got the big win. Offensively, we went into the game with the idea of we wanted to run the football. We played very physical because we knew we were a much more experienced team. New Mexico State's going to be a very good football team. They play a lot of young freshmen on defense that are very good football players. We've been there. We were there 4 years ago when we were playing all our young guys, and look where they are now. So I got to give credit to New Mexico State playing. They played a good game with a lot of young kids, and they're going to get a lot better really fast. But like I said, we went to the game thinking about playing physical. We did that. Terrence was able also to get the passing game going, to be able to create some bigger plays for us. Elijah McGuire with another great game. Played really well there. Defensively, another week, another great defensive performance against who we think is one of the better offensive teams in this league when it comes to putting up points and yards. Defense played really well. I think we had 27 different defensive players make a tackle. So our recruiting, our depth is starting to show up there, where we're able to put a lot of people in the field, play fresh players, and we were able to get after them pretty good. So like I said, very excited to see the young guys getting guys like Tracy Walker, guys like Jared Johnson, and Travis Crawford, and many other younger kids getting a chance to step up and play, and that's going to be critical as we move forward with the rest of the season. Moving on past that game, huge game this week. ULM was a team that came in on senior night last year, and they beat us. And they beat us in our home field and left a very sour taste in our mouths, or our kids' mouths. So obviously this is a big week, in-state rival. They're a very good football team. Defensively, we've talked about, or some of our guys have already talked about, they are very multiple. They start with a 3-3 stack, 5 DBs, but it's the same defense for 4 years, and for 4 years they've been one of the better, if not the best defense year in and year out in the Sun Belt Conference. So it's going to be a great challenge. For the 3 previous games that we've played with them have all been close, all going to the 4th quarter, and we expect the same thing this week. We are excited about getting Alonzo Harris back full speed. We held him out of last week's game. We wanted him to be fresh and 100%, and he needed that little extra time to do that. So he'll be full go come practice on Tuesday, and ready to get him going again as well. So with that being said, if there's any questions?
Talk about the 3-3 stack that they do. What makes it sort of, I mean, is it just because you don't see it that much?
Well, it's a lot of people do the odd type front, but they're so multiple with their blitzes, and they're very talented guys that have been in that system. So I think it allows them to do a lot of different things. But they bring blitzes from all over the place, and they create angles, and it just, for us offensively, as an offensive coach, we have to spend extra time in there just trying to find the code to the defense, and we'll spend numerous hours this week. We've been doing it all day today, yesterday, trying to figure out exactly what we think's coming and how they're going to do it. But they're very good at what they do. Coach Reffert does a great job over there, and hopefully we will get a good plan together and coached up to our players so they can execute at a high level on Saturday.
Reed, when you were recruiting Jared Johnson, did you see him as a raw football talent and more of a good basketball player, and that you would have to kind of wait a while for him to develop?
Absolutely. Jared Johnson was a young man. He did not come to any of our camps, so going into the season, we were not. I would say he wasn't very high on our recruiting board just because we have not seen him in person. But Coach Lovins does an excellent job recruiting North Louisiana for us. He stayed on Jared Johnson. As we started accumulating senior film on Jared, we saw really quick that this is a really talented big guy. The way he was able to run after the catch and stretch the field, and that's something most of the time, 6'6" receivers, yeah, they can catch balls, high balls like he did in the game the other day, things like that. But he was really able to run and make kids miss, and that's just a tribute to his athleticism. Like you said, a basketball player, also a really good tennis player. And we knew it was going to take time. Not all kids coming here are ready-made for college football, and we understand that. We have a great development program, as you can see, once again, with all our young players that are starting to show up and starting to make plays for us, because we bring them in, we coach them up, we train them hard, we teach them the Raging Cajun way, and when their time comes, like he did for Jared the other day, he makes 2 huge plays for us. So it's going to be interesting to see what young man steps up for us this next week. We're going to need several to do so.
With his ability to go up and get it, what is he capable of becoming eventually, and what can he do to add other elements to the game besides just that?
Well, the biggest thing, and that's a really good question. The biggest thing for Jared, and I think he alluded to it earlier, was confidence. Jared is a very talented guy. But a lot of these young guys, they come from high school where they are the best player, and they come to a college setting where a lot of times they go from the best to the worst, which is nothing wrong with that. They're a freshman, and sometimes it takes a little time for them just to make a play in a game, not just a practice or not just scrimmage, make a play in a game to get that confidence, get the confidence of Jay Johnson want to throw the ball to him, or get Terrence confidence to throw it up to him and things like that. So Jared he's going to continue to develop. He's just a sophomore. We've got him for 2 more years. I think since he's been here, he's gained 30 pounds. I think he could possibly gain another 10 to 15 and still be a wide receiver. You got to be careful telling him that, because he thinks 15, 20 pounds, put him in my room and tight end, he'll probably run from me. But he's got a chance to be a very good player, and he knows he's got a lot of developing to do. He's got to continue to work hard, but he's a good kid, high character, great drive, and I think he wants to get that done.
Coach, talk a little bit about being able to New Mexico State's going to be, and ULM's not going to be any different this week. They're going to play somebody down in the box. Mitch Lane, ULM's going to spend a lot of time in the box. Talk a little bit about you guys being able to effectively try to get past the ball and get that guy out of the box, and still being able to run the ball.
Absolutely. BJ, once again, that's another really good question, because Mitch Lane's a very good football player, and on the defense they refer to him as the Hulk player. He's the 5th, the middle of the 5 DBs back there in the back, and a lot of times he inserts himself as a box player to help the run. And it's critical for us to know where he is formationally, also know where he is based on scheme, because a lot of times we'll have to identify him as a box player instead of a safety or secondary type player. But we do. If people are going to stack the box against us like a little bit last week, I think we were getting some 9-man boxes at some time. We've got to be able to push the ball down the field, and we've really been doing a really good job of that these last couple of weeks of taking advantage of those opportunities. We're going to run the football. I think everybody knows that we're very physical, downhill, run the football team with our experience at O-line, and with our running back, especially now getting the Diesel back with Lonzo Harris back in there. So, but at the same time, when they put an extra guy down there, they are just relentless and not letting us, or not wanting us to run the ball. We've got to push the ball down the field, and that's going to be a critical thing for us to, as offensive coaches, to really look at the film and see where and when we're going to take our shots, and we've got to be able to execute.
Could Alonzo have played if you only needed him last week, and was just kind of by design to hold him out so he would be fully healthy for this week's game?
Yes, he could have played. He did not have an injury that was keeping him from playing. We just felt after the South Alabama game, he tried to give it a go. He was not 100%, and we knew we were going to need. We need him for every game, but we knew going down the stretch we're really going to need Alonzo 100%. That's the type of game he brings is a downhill, physical, and when he's healthy, he feels good. He's a weapon. All conference player freshman year 3 years ago. So we need him back healthy. So we allowed him to take a little time off. Coach Hudd made that decision along with the offensive coaches, and we were able to go in that game. We felt very comfortable with Ephraim Reed and Darius Hoggins, who's another young man that's stepping up. So we knew they were going to be able to give us valuable time in that game. So we were able to get the big win without Alonzo, get him back healthy. So it's a plus there.
Coach,
is that kind of a difficult decision to explain to to a young guy who's accustomed to playing.
It is, but at the same time, I think Alonzo understands that he wasn't 100% full speed too. And kids want to play, and that's why they're all conference players, and they're really good football players. They want to play, and they want to get out there. Perfect example, we also held Nick Burnout, who's been my second tight end all year. He wanted to play. It crushed him, but he needed to get healthy. He needed a whole week all to get some things back healthy, and he'll be right back full speed this week. But that's the key. One of the key things for our success has been these kids love playing football. They love it. They go out there every day. We work hard every day, and they want to be on that field. They want to be out there for one another, fighting for one another. And sometimes, because of injuries or because of things, sometimes they won't be able to. That just lights the fire, gets them ready to play. And I think Alonzo will play lights out this week.
Coach, obviously Ephraim did a good job filling in for Alonzo, and he gives you some things, but how much of a difference does it make having Alonzo back to take some of those hard yards between the tackles and allowing Elijah maybe to stretch the field a little bit more or play more of his role?
Well, absolutely. You're able to change the speed of the game, okay? And there's two ways of thinking about that. The last 2 weeks, I think Elijah McGuire's got 52 or 54 touches, and that's a testament to him of being so durable and be able to get those reps. But when you got a guy like Alonzo coming downhill and especially when he's able to get to the second and third level, and safeties and linebackers are having to tackle 245, it takes a toll on you. And when it really shows up is when you get down towards the late of the game, second half and the fourth quarter, all of a sudden you've got Elijah out there who's only touched the ball 15 to 17 times, and he's still fresh, and he goes in there and completely changes the speed of the game after Alonzo's been hammering him. So it's really good. They're a great 1-2 punch. They complement each other. The reason they're both so effective is because of each other. I think they both know that. And when we have them both rolling, we're very good rushing. The Russian team, we're a very good offensive team. I think Coach Hudd told us, I think every time Alonzo rushes for 75 yards, we're undefeated, something like that. And part of that is because on those 75 yards, if he takes 10, 15 carries, that's 10 or 15 times somebody has to tackle the decent. And it takes a toll on them. And once again, we're able to put Elijah out there and keep them both fresh. So it should be good having both back. I know we're very excited. Coach Lovins is extremely excited to have both of them back, and we're looking forward to this weekend's game.
Back to Jared, after Terrence changed the play on the first one, did Jay decide to go ahead and throw that second one to him, or was that another change on Terrence's part?
Well, no, the second was a call play. And actually, if you remember, the week before, we actually threw a fade ball to Elijah McGuire in the end zone. Terrence actually wanted to throw that ball to Jared, but as he was sometimes yelling from off the field about what play he wanted, I think we were a little confused about which fade ball he wanted. That was a special design fade ball to Elijah we put in that week. So that was a very good thing. That probably led to Terrence throwing the ball to Jared this week because he started to gain confidence in it. And if you look at that second fade ball that Jared caught, he was practically about 3.5, 4 feet above the DB trying to cover him when he caught that ball at the highest point. So he's a weapon down there. I think people are going to have to pay attention to it. And the more you pay attention to him, he's usually a guy that gets out of the box down there, which of course helps in the run game. So we give Terrence the ability sometimes down there on the goal line to fade it up, especially if they're stacking the box. And I think with a weapon like Jared Johnson and of course James Butler and guys like that, we'll be able to do that more.
Besides the fact that it's the next one, what makes this Monroe one so special?
Well, it's an in-state rivalry, and we recruit against them. We see them, we see them all the time. They're a very good football team, and for me personally, and I think for our team personally, last year we had won, I think, 8 straight games. It was senior night. They came down to our field. We started lightning fast last year. We were up 14-0, and they fought their way back in and was able to beat us late. And it was a bitter taste in our mouths, especially after that game. We had actually won a share of the Sun Belt Conference, and we were invited to the New Orleans Bowl, and you can't even crack a smile because you're so disappointed in the way that game turned out, the way we played, and we thought that was a game that if we would have executed better, it would have turned out a different way. Credit to them, they played lights out. Their quarterback last year played lights out, and they've got good football players, and it's going to be a very, very physical game. It's going to be an important game for them, just as it is for us. I think if they win out, they have a chance to get bowl eligible. We're fighting to stay 6-0 in the conference and to keep our conference championship goals alive. But right now, the #1 goal, it doesn't matter if we were playing Monroe or we were playing Tierlands Catholic. We're trying to win that next game, go 6-0, and keep this conference championship chances alive.
Did you, have you already been over at the hospital working on that?
No,
Are you
no.
not, or-
We're actually in our offense staff room grounded away. As the defense is in their staff room grounded away. I do know Coach Hudd does have a computer with all the film downloaded. He's already called and sent a couple texts of some offensive sets that he already likes. But you know, to his credit, most of the stuff he likes revolves around the passing game. So he's already sent a couple things to pass that we like. We're in there trying to figure out how we want to run the ball first. So it's a great. We complement each other very well, and that's why I think our offense has been pretty good for 4 years. But I know Coach Hudd's excited about a new addition to his family, and I'm sure he'll be ready to go sometime tomorrow, Wednesday, or tomorrow afternoon. We'll be back in here, being with the team, getting ready to win a big game.
You got your own crazy baby story too, don't you?
I do. When Coach Hudd called me on December 3rd, something like that, to say that there was a chance he was going to be getting this Lafayette job. My wife was 38 weeks pregnant. We were in Clemson, South Carolina. And I instantly looked at her and she said, we got to call the doctor. So we called our doctor. He had something set up in Atlanta. Something happened to go to that hospital. And then in Birmingham, something happened to go to that hospital. But luckily, we were able to get all the way back to Starkville, Mississippi, where I kissed her and said, let me know when the baby comes. Got down here, put together a recruitment plan in 2 days, and then I got a call in the middle of the night to come on back and have the baby. And the next day, I think this was you're alluding to, the next day we're sitting around, baby had been here, and I asked him very nicely, and I asked her, said, do you mind, because we're in Starkville, Mississippi, I said, that's my old recruitment area in Mississippi State. I said, do you mind if I go and just hit a couple schools, some local friends? And she said, sure. And that's how I signed Chris Prater, someone playing basketball. And the guy there at Starkville High School that I really trust, and he would take a chance on this kid. He's a 210-pound, 6'5" kid. Now he's 265 pounds, and he's playing lights out. So, yeah, it's funny as football coaches, sometimes when we have children, when you always try to plan it out, where you have it in the summertime or spring break or I guess now here in Louisiana during Mardi Gras, but it doesn't really work that way. So, but our families come first. They've always come first in this program, and very excited for Coach Hudd and Tyler and the addition to the family.
Which one of yours was it?
Do it now?
Which of yours was it?
My second. Thanks.
The Cajun football program lost a member of its family last night. Can you talk a little bit about, Orlando and, y'all's thoughts as a football team around that? Well,
we found out this morning as a coaching staff about that, and it's a big loss to the program because obviously he's not someone that I have had a chance to spend time with, being relatively new to the program, but just the effect that he and the memories that he left for some of the guys that we do see, the Jake Holmes and some of those guys that were around him more. The guy was obviously a great guy, did a lot of great things for this university. I'm sure he'll definitely be missed, and all we can do is hopefully go out and, as a football team and play well and do him and all the alumni proud. There's a lot of tradition here, there's a lot of passion here, and so as a team, as a coaching staff, we will make them all proud.
Anything else? All right, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Ray.